From a Russian roulette with an actual bullet in it to being impaled by one of Santa's reindeers. Here are the top 10 ways to die. Number 10. Dying from eating the wrong mushroom. It's hard to imagine that something so small could kill you, but certain poisonous mushrooms contain enough toxins to take your life. And even worse, some of these deadly fungi don't even taste bad. So if you don't have a good eye for these plants, you might end up taking a bite out of something you shouldn't. In fact, more than 90 people in the US die each year due to eating the wrong mushroom. If you want to be safe, stick to the old saying, don't eat anything in the woods unless you've seen someone else do it first. Now, 9. Death by falling satellite. One of the scariest things about space is also one of the least likely ways to die, getting hit by a falling satellite. While it sounds like a plot from a sci-fi movie, this actually happened to a woman in 1997 when a 36-pound piece of space debris fell from the sky and landed on her head. The chances of this happening to you are incredibly low, but there are between 8,000 and 12,000 pieces of trackable debris orbiting the Earth. So it's probably best not to lie down under any big metal objects until they get cleaned up. No, eat strangulation by your own hair. A rare but horrifying way to die is by getting strangled by your own hair. This would most likely happen to someone with long hair who ties it off in a tight bun or ponytail. When the hair tie breaks, the hair can pull tightly around the neck and block airflow to the brain. Even just a few seconds without oxygen can cause brain damage, which is why you should probably wear a headband while you work out or sleep just in case. And if you see someone else with long hair, warn them to be careful because this has happened to men with long hair too. No. 7. Impaled by a deer antler. Now here's a painful way to go. Imagine you relaxing in your backyard when all of a sudden you impaled by a flying deer antler. Well, it's not as far-fetched as you might think. Antlers are actually a dead serious cause of death in the US with at least one recorded death per year. The most common way this happens is when a person is walking in an area full of deer and a large buck feels threatened. The deer will then leap into the air and attempt to hit the person with its antlers. And even though the chances of this happening to you are low, you should still keep your head on a swivel, especially in the spring and early summer when bucks are in their mating season and feeling extra frisky. No. 6. Crushed by a tsunami. When you hear the word tsunami, you probably think of giant walls of water crashing onto land and destroying everything in sight. But did you know that drowning is actually the leading cause of death from a tsunami? Getting crushed by the sheer force of the water isn't the only thing that can take your life. Many people also pass away due to injuries caused by debris or getting sucked out to sea as the water recedes. With tsunamis becoming more common in recent years, it's important to be prepared. So if you live near the coast or plan on going to the beach anytime soon, make sure you check the local tsunami warning system and follow safety guidelines in case a tsunami is detected. No. 5. Suicide by Russian roulette. You've probably heard of Russian roulette, but do you really know how dangerous it is? Unlike the classic game, real Russian roulette involves a real gun with a real bullet in it. And instead of pulling the trigger for the thrill of the game, players often use the gun as a literal tool for suicide. While we hope no one is crazy enough to play this game, it's important to know the risks. If you see someone playing with a gun, please try to talk them out of it, because even one bullet is enough to end a life. No. For choking on your own blood, imagine you're choking, but it's not food stuck in your throat. It's your own blood. Sounds gross, right? Well, it can actually happen if you have a serious medical condition called a bleeding ulcer. This condition makes it difficult for the body to stop bleeding, which can lead to massive blood loss and eventually death. And as the blood fills your throat, you'll start choking on it, making it hard to breathe and increasing the chances that you'll suffocate. That's why it's important to seek medical attention if you notice any signs of heavy bleeding. With prompt treatment, many types of ulcers can be cured and you can live a long and happy life. No. 3. Drowning in a swimming pool. According to the CDC, nearly 4,000 people drown in swimming pools every year. But what is even more shocking is that half of those deaths occur in people under the age of 14. That is why it is important to never swim alone and always be aware of your surroundings. Many pool drownings happen when children are left unattended for even just a moment. So if you have kids, make sure to keep a close eye on them whenever they're around water. And even if you're an experienced swimmer, it's still smart to buddy up and keep an eye on each other. No, to eaten alive by a shark. Every year, sharks are responsible for about 100 unprovoked attacks on humans, with Florida being the most common location. And while most of these attacks aren't fatal, there have been several instances where sharks have eaten people alive. These attacks are rare, but they do happen, which is why it's important to be aware of your surroundings when you're in the water. If you see a shark, don't panic, but do try to leave the area calmly. If the shark does approach you, make yourself look big by spreading your arms and legs and try to scare it away. And if that doesn't work, fight back by poking the shark in the eyes or hitting it with any nearby objects. Remember, stay calm, make yourself big and fight back if you need to. Number 1. Being impaled by a reindeer. We saved the most ridiculous for last. How exactly does one die from being impaled by a reindeer? Well, it's actually happened before. In 2009, a man named Robert Lester was celebrating Christmas in Santa Park in Finland when he was accidentally impaled by one of Santa's reindeers. The antler went right through his skull, leaving him paralyzed from the waist down. And while he survived the ordeal, he had to stay in the hospital for several months as doctors worked to repair the damage. The moral of the story: watch your head around large animals, especially if they're wearing antlers.